Hi, I'm Tim Alexander,
And I'm Ben Mio McCrae.
and right now we're going to talk about how did you know that she was her?
One.
So how did you know? You're living your life. What happened?
Natasha and I met at a New Year's Eve party. And I was standing in the entranceway of this house. And she walked in. And I saw her. And it was like, pow. Really, it was that strong. I said hello. I told her kind of where she could put her coat. I just happened to be like the only one standing in the entranceway. And it was just one of those moments where energetically we were like there was a spark there. So I don't know if I don't know if I knew in that moment she was the one, but in the course of the evening, I kind of got a feeling that this was going to be a significant meeting. So much so that I insisted on getting a photo with her that night. Like, so she had a little tiara on. I don't know I guess it was a New Year's Eve tiara.
Right.
And I couldn't help but think that she was a queen. That thought actually crossed my mind when we were talking. And I think just from that very first meeting, I kind of got a sense that maybe she was my queen.
Wow, well, you're right.
Yeah, and it worked out.
Wow, in my case, I met my queen online, and we talked for about maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and we had, I think, a date that we attempted to have that didn't quite work out. And she had gotten a little discouraged because she had had a group of other men that she was considering, and so she didn't really have to, And it was early, but even though we kind of pushed each other in the wrong directions, I said, I want to meet her. She's got some fire and some spunk that's kind of attractive. So when we met, my goal was to go a little deeper inside her than maybe she was expecting to figure out who she was, because I wasn't sure. And my hunch was right. She was being aggressive to try to protect herself, to try to push back against men until she felt she knew who they were.
Aggressive how?
She would say things that were a bit off-putting. She would talk about mainly her career, and she wouldn't really let you inside. But if you didn't do things a certain way, then she didn't have time for that because she had other people. So I'm like, I can see through her little game. She's trying to protect herself. So when we got together, I finished editing something. I called her and said, hey, what are you doing? I got a few minutes. Can we get together and maybe get some coffee? So surprisingly and pleasantly, she said, yeah. And within 30 minutes, I was there. And the first time I saw her, I'm like, wow, she's perfect.
Awesome.
I just said, that's what I want. That's what I want.
It took me a long time before I actually called Natasha.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we met that night, New Year's Eve. We exchanged numbers. I got her number. She was actually rehearsing for a play that she was going to put up the next month. And I figured, well, I'd go to the opening of the play. So I'd see her there. And I was really busy with work. So I just kind of let it go. I enjoyed meeting her, and I knew I'd see her again. And so I just waited. It was maybe 3 weeks later, something like that, when I saw the play. And then it took me a little while after that. I still didn't call. So I don't know what. I just got kind of sidetracked with work, and so it took me a while to call, but we kept on bumping into each other. We had some mutual friends. So it's at a certain point, it seemed like I was getting a sign from God that I kept on meeting her in different places, and like finally I asked her out. And
wow.
From the first date, that was it. We were always together.
Wow.
And people always thought we were married, like from the first moment that we started going out.
You just had that energy, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Well, after we went out the first time, I think there was maybe 4 days we got together the second time at the same place. And I actually knew that was her. For sure. And I knew that she probably wouldn't be ready to hear that. So, I took an aggressive stance of really letting her know that I wasn't like the other guys, and I started laying a foundation because I had intentions. I'm like, this is what I'm going to keep. And then we saw each other the third time, and then, there was a little bit of obvious attraction that was flowing. And from that third time we saw each other, I don't think we stopped seeing each other. We saw each other constantly.
That's awesome.
And we were just together. And her whole list of people that she was thinking about all faded away. And we both did a ceremonial shut down our social media thing together. And we're together, and we're going to be together until one of us dies. And hopefully that'll be the same day.
Wow. How long were you two guys together dating before you got engaged?
Oh, let's see. It was early when I told her I was going to marry her. It wasn't an official engagement. We kind of slid into it, a little bit sideways. But I let her know I'm going to marry you. And at the time, money was real tight. I didn't know how I was going to go about it, and do the here's the ring and get down on the knee thing. So we played it down to the wire. And it wasn't ideally what she wanted. I must give my wife big props. She compromised like heck. I was so far off of what she was looking for. And so far off of what on the surface it looked like she deserved. She's an amazing woman. She came from an amazing background, an amazing family. She's amazingly educated. And she wanted a man that had an amazing set of abs and an amazing house and an amazing amount of money. And, and all these things. And she wanted a man who amazingly didn't have any kids. I didn't fit any of those categories. But I said, you're going to be my wife. I don't care what you think. And all the way down to the wire, she was trying to, but then something snapped. God put everything together. Everything we needed to get married just magically almost seemed to appear. And that's not me making stuff up. I mean, it just came from everywhere. And down until the week before we got married, sometimes she still wasn't sure how this was supposed to work. But once we got married, once we got down to that point, I looked at her straight in the face and said, I'm going to marry you. I don't ever want to hear you say anything different. We will be together until we die. And she knew I meant that. That cured all. It was over. She was really mine then. But, we came in rough. And we spent about almost 4 seasons together before we actually got married.
4 years?
Almost 4 seasons, almost a year.
Wow.
And we were celibate the whole time. So, there was a lot different about this relationship from anything that either one of us had encountered before. But we knew it had to be love to stay together and endure the things we did, adjusting to each other without, having that makeup sex session every once in a while to keep things going healthy. But, it all paid off. And I honestly think, and my wife has also said the same, we think that if we had sex and tried to do it a more conventional way, we're not sure what would have happened. And the respect we have for each other.
Well, it takes a lot of willpower not to have sex.
Yeah.
For sure. And you have to be very focused on what your goals are. And you have to talk and communicate that whole time. And I think celibacy can be great for those who choose that.
Yeah.
We didn't choose that, but, we...
But you waited before you jumped in.
Yeah, I mean... we dated like a year and a half before we got engaged, and we were engaged for a year and then got married.
Yeah.
So
but
we're no spring chickens, so we didn't want to stretch it out too long. But,
absolutely, neither did we.
But 2 years, 2.5 years was a good, I think, amount of time to kind of learn each other, and grow and plan and.
Yeah, in our case, it built up a cohesiveness that I don't think most people who are together as short as we were would have. We've been together in total maybe just about a year and a half. And people think we've been married like 20 or 30 years. The cohesiveness and the trust we have for each other, I don't care what happens. I don't have to worry about what she's going to do. And she feels the same about me. I have a business trip to see a friend I've been seeing in years, and she's not worried about what I'm going to do when I'm gone. And I know, rich, poor, whatever I am, I know that my wife is really there because we tested each other the hardest possible way. And I think people go into a situation wanting it so ideal up front. When they hit a bump, they can't survive it. And it's like, I don't like this part. I thought everything was going to be perfect like this. I'm out. I don't have to put up with this, blah, blah, blah. we already put up with a lot
Right.
to get
Well,
where
you
we
built-
got
you-
to. So
you
we're
have the
tried
right-
by the fire.
Yeah, you have the right foundation, you know, and that on that foundation you have it's built on each of your characters and
Yes.
and the type of people you are. You know?
Yeah, and we had to strip
So
away
you
a lot
build
of
that trust.
expectations.
You build that amount of trust.
Right. And we had to step outside of our comfort zones until we became comfortable. And it's wonderful. I wouldn't trade anything about all the awkward times we had for anything. I know who my wife is, and people, you have the prognosticators, oh, let's see how it is in the next 3 years. You're going to see in 4 years. I'm not even trying to hear them. I know who my wife is.
Well, you gotta take it. I think take it a day at a time.
Yeah.
And make each day special.
Yes.
Each day is a blessing, you know. And I love each day with my wife, and I, definitely don't take any of it for granted. You know,
Yes.
every day is a blessing with her.
So, ladies, when a man steps to you, and even though it may feel premature to you, he lets you know that he sees something in you that he wants for a lifetime. Really pay attention. You may get one like us, a man who wants a wife for life. And an exceptional man is not going to come at you or to you like the other ones do. It's going to be completely different. So just keep your eyes open.
Yep.
Don't close yourself off to a man who says, hey, I want to be with you, like for real.
Be open. Be
And-
open to all the possibility.
If you have to convince him to get married, he probably doesn't really want to get married, and he's doing it to get you off his back. Big difference. Bye.
Take care. Bye.